Angkor Wat, a magnificent temple complex in Siem Reap, Cambodia, was originally built in the 12th century as a tribute to the Hindu god Vishnu. It's one of the largest religious structures ever created, rivaled only by Egypt's Temple of Karnak, and, according to some, even surpassing it. The name Angkor Wat translates to City of the Temple. It was designed as a bridge between the human and divine, with its towering spires symbolizing the mountains of eternity and its vast moat representing the cosmic ocean. Constructed from 1.5 million cubic meters of sand and silt, it was commissioned by Khmer Emperor Suryavarman II, 1113 to 1150, as a grand expression of devotion to Vishnu. The temple spans 420 acres, 162.6 hectares, with a central tower reaching 213 feet, 65 meters. Its massive moat, 650 feet, 200 meters, wide, encircles over 3 miles, 5 kilometers, and reaches a depth of 13 feet, 4 meters. Initially a Hindu temple, it transitioned to Buddhist use in the late 13th century. By the 16th century, it was largely abandoned, overtaken by the jungle. Western explorers rediscovered Angkor Wat in the 19th century, clearing the overgrowth and initiating restoration efforts. Today, as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, it stands as one of the world's most visited landmarks. Suryavarman II and construction. Suryavarman II is regarded as one of the Khmer Empire's greatest rulers, known for centralizing power and fostering a prosperous kingdom. While his military campaigns against Dai Viet, modern-day Vietnam, and Campa saw little success, his diplomatic ties with China greatly boosted trade and economic growth. However, he was also a usurper. He took the throne by assassinating his great-uncle Dharanendravarman I in 1113. He justified this as slaying a serpent, though the exact meaning remains uncertain. To solidify his rule, he embarked on the grand construction of Angkor Wat, dedicated to Vishnu, his personal protector god, likely in gratitude for his rise to power. With wealth amassed from trade and taxes, no expense was spared in its creation. Historian Christopher Scar highlights how Khmer rulers embraced luxury and divine monarchy, reaching its peak under Suryavarman II with the construction of Angkor Wat. The temple was strategically designed so visitors could only enter from the west, a direction linked to both Vishnu and spiritual renewal. The towering structure led the eye upward, guiding worshippers through intricate carvings of gods, heroes, and ancestors. Surrounding the temple, homes, workshops, markets, and roads flourished, forming a thriving city. The foundation was built using laterite, encased in sandstone. Massive sandstone blocks were quarried from the Kulin Hills, 18 miles north, and transported via a network of canals. The total construction time remains unknown, and some believe it was never fully completed. Even today, Angkor Wat stands as a breathtaking testament to the grandeur of the Khmer Empire. Religious background. Angkor Wat can be interpreted in many ways, but Suryavarman II ensured that, no matter how people saw it, he would be part of it. He is depicted in statues as Vishnu, consorting with the god, reviewing his troops, and holding court. His likeness appears in so many different scenes that early excavators believed the site was a funerary temple. There are strong reasons for this theory. Unlike other temples in the area, which face east, Angkor Wat faces west, toward the land of the dead. The bas-reliefs are designed to be read counterclockwise, mirroring funeral rituals conducted in reverse. If Suryavarman II had been buried there, it would be undeniable as a funerary temple. But no such evidence exists. Perhaps it was originally intended as a burial site, but remained unfinished at Suryavarman II's death, and he was cremated and buried elsewhere. More likely, though, he built it to honor his god, an idea supported by his deep religious beliefs. Suryavarman II practiced Vaishnavism, a form of Hinduism devoted to Vishnu above all others. While Hinduism is often seen as polytheistic, it's actually henotheistic, meaning one god manifests in many forms. In this belief system, a single deity is too vast for the human mind to grasp, so different aspects emerge to represent various facets of life. In Hinduism, Brahma creates the world, Vishnu preserves it, and Shiva destroys it, continuing the cycle of rebirth or leading souls to unity with the divine. Angkor Wat reflects this journey but elevates Vishnu above Brahma, making him the supreme deity. Vishnu has appeared to humanity in many forms, like Krishna, guiding people through history. The Bhagavad Gita tells of Krishna advising Prince Arjuna on the battlefield, explaining existence and life's purpose. Similarly, Angkor Wat's design tells the story of human struggle, divine presence, and the path to a virtuous life. The rise of Vaishnavism in Cambodia was tied to Khmer conflicts with the neighboring Kampa. Suryavarman I expanded into Thailand and clashed with the Kampa, whose elite practiced Buddhism, a religion many Khmer saw as a threat. In response, Vishnu, the protector god, gained popularity. By Suryavarman II's reign, Brahmanism, favored by the elite, was spreading and Buddhism had also grown. To unite his people, he promoted the worship of Vishnu, who was not just a creator or destroyer but a protector of all, a divine guardian who watched over humanity. One of Vishnu's most famous tales is the churning of the ocean of milk, where he outsmarts demons to secure the Amrita, the nectar of immortality, preserving order. This story is among the most famous bas-reliefs at Angkor Wat, reinforcing its identity as a temple of worship, not a tomb. Stories in stone. Angkor Wat symbolizes Mount Meru, the spiritual and physical center of Hinduism. Its 5 temple spires represent Mount Meru's 5 peaks. According to Hindu belief, Brahma and the Devas, demigods, reside there. The Mahabharata references Mount Meru when Yudhishthira and his brothers seek the gates of heaven. One by one, his brothers perish, leaving only Yudhishthira and his faithful dog. At the gates, the keeper tells him he may enter, but not his dog. Yudhishthira refuses any paradise that excludes his companion. At that moment, the gatekeeper reveals himself as Vishnu, testing his devotion before granting him entry. Angkor Wat is filled with such stories, depicted in bas-reliefs drawn from Hindu texts like the Ramayana and Bhagavad Gita. Scenes include the Great Battle of Kurukshetra and the Battle of Lanka, bringing mythology to life for a population that was largely illiterate in the 12th century. The temple itself was a massive stone manuscript, visually narrating the spiritual and cultural history of its people. The structure was designed with a series of galleries that ascend upwards, providing space for these intricate carvings. The outer gallery stretches over 600 meters, adorned with these elaborate reliefs. Angkor Wat was designed to mirror the world, its 4 corners symbolizing the 4 edges of the earth, its moat representing the surrounding oceans. Carvings of daily life, mythology, religious iconography, and royal processions wrap around its walls. At the western entrance, a large 8-armed Vishnu statue greets visitors, where modern-day worshippers still leave offerings in gratitude or supplication. The temple's central sanctuary aligns with the north-south axis of the earth, emphasizing Vishnu's presence at the heart of both worldly and divine affairs. Some scholars suggest the galleries were designed for astronomical observations, allowing precise study of the stars. The temple is aligned to reflect Draco, the celestial dragon, which never sets, symbolizing eternity. Angkor Wat was rededicated as a Buddhist temple in the 14th century, with statues of the Buddha and Buddhist stories added to its already impressive iconography. Since Buddhists respected the Hindu beliefs of those who still worship there, all original statues and artwork remained untouched. Instead, Buddhist craftsmen contributed to the temple's intricate narrative without taking anything away. By the early 16th century, the temple's use had declined, though Buddhist monks still resided there. Over time, legends emerged, claiming that the gods had built it in the distant past. One popular story described how the god Indra constructed it overnight as a palace for his son. Protected by its immense moat, Angkor Wat never succumbed to the jungle like other ancient cities, such as those of the Maya. Even though locals continued visiting, the temple became shrouded in mystery, associated with hauntings and dark spirits. It was said that the site once radiated positive energy due to the devotion of worshippers, but as visits declined, dark forces took over. Soon, the empty galleries, porches, and entranceways were thought to emit an eerie energy, deterring visitors. With only a few monks left to maintain it, the buildings deteriorated and nature crept in, with plants growing through cracks in the stone. Western discovery and restoration. the temple did not remain forgotten for long. The first recorded Western visitor was the Portuguese monk Antonio de Madalena in 1586, whose writings express awe at the structure. However, he made no efforts to restore or promote it. The next significant visitor was the French archaeologist Henri Mouhat around 1860. Although often credited with discovering Angkor Wat, the temple was never truly lost. Locals had always known of it, and it existed in legends far beyond the region. Mouhat, however, was the first Westerner to actively study and publicize Angkor Wat. He was so captivated by the temple that he dedicated himself to its restoration. Believing it to be the work of a long-lost civilization, he saw the legends of Indra raising it overnight as hints of forgotten ancient technology. Like many Westerners of his time, he struggled to accept that the ancestors of the Cambodians he met could have built such a masterpiece, just as 19th-century scholars doubted that the Maya had constructed their grand cities and temples. Since Mouhat's time, Angkor Wat has become world-famous. Millions visit every year, and restoration efforts continue. In 1992, UNESCO designated it a World Heritage Site. Though it was not selected as one of the new 7 wonders of the world, it was a finalist in 2007, drawing even more global attention. In 2016, a New York Times article highlighted ongoing archaeological discoveries in the surrounding jungle, including sites where the temple's builders once lived. Today, Angkor Wat stands as one of the most visited archaeological parks in the world. Those who step into its ancient grounds follow in the footsteps of countless people across centuries, drawn to the site Suryavarman II envisioned as the meeting point of earth and heaven.